The Huntington Library, Art Museum, and Botanical Gardens, called the Huntington, located in San Marino, California, is a research and cultural center surrounded by more than 120 acres of botanical gardens. The Huntington is one of the wealthiest cultural institutions in America. Its library contains a collection of rare books and manuscripts focused on history, literature, art, and the history of science. The library's main exhibition hall displays many of these rare books and manuscripts, while the West Hall of the library presents a series of exhibitions. The Huntington Library contains 7 million manuscripts, more than 400,000 rare books, photographs, prints, and science-related drawings. There are 11 copies of the Gutenberg Bible, an original manuscript by Chaucer, along with letters and written papers by George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin, and Abraham Lincoln in the library's collection. Railroad magnate Henry E. Huntington built this estate in 1910. He established an institution based on the art he collected and built a research library to house his extensive collection of mostly 18th and 19th century European art and 17th through 20th century American art. The Dibner Hall of the History of Science showcases science elements from the permanent exhibition of the science of astronomy, natural history, medicine, and the nature of light. A series of halls and galleries at the Huntington display the permanent collection of European and American art, with temporary exhibitions in the Boone and Scott galleries. Different exhibitions run throughout the year on different social and political subjects. In the original Huntington residence, the Huntington Art Gallery is where you'll find the largest collection of European art. His second wife, Arabella Huntington, spurred on Huntington's interest in art, and they used the post-war American economic expansion to buy up European art and assemble the greatest collection of 18th century British portraits owned by one person. The Arabella D. Huntington Memorial Art Collection contains European art from the Renaissance paintings to wonderful 18th century French tapestries, porcelain, and antique furniture, along with some of the collection's most well-known British paintings, such as The Blue Boy by Thomas Gainsborough and Pinky by Thomas Lawrence, and Madonna and Child by Roger Vander Weyden. The Huntington's American art collection includes paintings, prints, drawings, sculptures, and photographs dating back to the 17th through mid-20th century. The Virginia Steele Scott Gallery of American Art and the Lewis and Robert F. Urberhu Galleries showcase the Huntington's expansive American art collection. The American art collection includes more than 12,000 works, most of which are drawings, photographs, and prints. The must-see stops of the masters of American artists include Breakfast in Bed by Mary Cassatt, The Long Lead by Edward Hopper, and Small Crushed Campbell Soup Cans, Beef Noodle by Andy Warhol. The Huntington's Botanical Gardens showcase plants from around the world. The gardens are made up of a series of specialized landscape gardens, including the Rose Garden, the Shakespeare Garden, the Desert Garden, the Japanese Garden, and the Chinese Garden. There is also a large tropical plant collection, as well as a carnivorous plant section in the conservatory. The Chinese Garden is the largest outside of China. The garden features a small lake with a pavilion connected by bridges. There are a number of pavilions, including the Love of the Lotus Pavilion, the Terrace of the Jade Mere, and the Pavilion of the Three Friends, and a tea house. The Desert Garden is one of the world's largest and oldest collection of cacti and succulents with plants from some of the most extreme environments in the world. With more than 5,000 different species, the Desert Garden is botanically important and one of the finest in the world. The Japanese garden was first opened to the public in 1928. It contains 3 gardens: the original stroll garden with koi pond and drum or moon bridge, the rake gravel dry garden, and the traditional landscape tea garden. In addition, there is a ceremonial tea house, a furnished Japanese house, a Zen garden, and a bonsai collection with hundreds of trees. Other gardens include the Australian Camellia Children's, the Herb, the Jungle, lily ponds, palms, ranch, and tropical gardens. For over 100 years, the Huntington has served as a public museum, research center, and botanical gardens, as a center for the arts and plant conservatory. The grounds and galleries have provided the perfect place to discover, learn, and appreciate this beautiful cultural center.